Shauna Mitchell stared at the papers on the mahogany desk, her husband's cold voice echoing in the cavernous study. Those are divorce papers. Sign it. No preamble, no emotion. Just Damian Harrington, CEO of Harrington Industries, delivering the end of their marriage like a quarterly report. What? The word came out smaller than she intended. Damian didn't even look up from his laptop. Because you aren't needed. I married you only because my father made it the only way to inherit his properties. I wasn't going to allow my hard work to go to the snake that is my younger brother. And now that I've inherited almost everything, you're not needed. The words hit like physical blows. 3 years. 3 years of marriage where she'd tried everything. Cooking his favorite meals, attending his endless business dinners, smiling through his mother's criticism, pretending she didn't notice how he worked 16-hour days to avoid coming home. That is all I was. Her voice shook. A condition in a will. He finally looked at her, his expression blank. You'll be paid for your years as my bed warmer. Bed warmer? The insult ignited something. We haven't shared a bed in 6 months, and the moment my lawyer receives the signed document, you'll have the money sent to your card. In addition, you can stay here for an extra month. Shauna laughed, a broken, bitter sound. Fine. $130,000 is all I need. You can get more. I need just the amount I specified. And don't worry, I'll sign right now. Just send the money now. Damian's fingers flew across his phone. Within seconds, her phone buzzed with a bank notification. She signed the papers with shaking hands and walked out of the study, the mansion, and her marriage without looking back. 2 weeks later, Shauna threw up for the 3rd morning in a row. No, 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 she whispered, gripping the bathroom sink. But the pregnancy tests, all 5 of them, didn't lie. Pregnant with Damian's baby, her ex-husband, who'd called her a bed warmer and paid her off like a dismissed employee. She sank onto the bathroom floor of the tiny apartment she'd rented with her divorce money, mind racing. Tell him? He'd made it clear she was disposable. What would he do with the baby? Her phone buzzed. Her mother, Elenina, had been diagnosed with stage 3 lung cancer 2 months before the divorce. The medical bills were astronomical, even with insurance. That's why Shauna had only asked for $130,000, enough to cover the next round of treatments. Mom, I need to tell you something. What's wrong? You sound upset. I'm pregnant. Silence then. Does Damian know? No, and he's not going to. Shauna. Mom, he paid me to leave. He made it clear I was just a contractual obligation. I'm not telling him about this baby so he can reject us both. But he has a right. He gave up his rights when he called me a bed warmer and handed me divorce papers. Eleanor sighed. What are you going to do? I'm going to have this baby take care of you and figure it out. We'll figure out together, her mother said firmly. 6 months later, Triplets, the ultrasound technician, said cheerfully. Congratulations, Shauna stared at the screen. I'm sorry, what? 3 babies, C, baby A, baby B, and baby C. 3. Shauna's voice was faint. I'm having 3 babies. Runs in families usually. Do you have triplets in your family history? No, but apparently my ex-husband does, Shauna muttered. His father was a triplet. The technician printed the ultrasound photos. Well, you're about to join the club. Everything looks healthy. You'll need to the rest of the appointment passed in a blur. 3 babies on her own with a sick mother and $80,000 left of her divorce settlement. She called her best friend Maya the moment she got to her car. I'm having triplets, she said without preamble. You're what? 3 babies, Maya. 3. Does Damian know? No, and he's never going to. He didn't want me. He definitely doesn't want 3 babies. Shauna, this is insane. You can't raise triplets alone while taking care of your mom. Watch me. And somehow she did. 5 years later, Mama, why don't we have a daddy? 5-year-old Liam asked, building a tower with blocks. Shauna looked up from where she was helping his sister Maya, named after her best friend, with homework, while their sister Sophie colored at the kitchen table of their small 2-bedroom apartment. "You have me," Shauna said carefully. "Isn't that enough?" "Yeah, but Tommy at school has a daddy and a mama. He says daddies are important. Tommy doesn't know everything." "But where is our daddy?" Sophie asked, not looking up from her drawing. "He's not in our lives because he doesn't want us." Maya, perceptive, brilliant Maya, asked quietly. Shauna's heart cracked. "He doesn't know about you." 3 heads swiveled toward her. "Why not?" Liam demanded. "Because when your daddy and I got divorced, I didn't know you were coming yet. And by the time I found out, I decided I didn't want to tell him." "Why?" Sophie asked. "Because our family is perfect the way it is." "But what if we want to meet him?" Maya asked. "Do you?" 3 nods. Shauna's stomach dropped. "Why?" "Because he's half of us," Maya said with 5-year-old logic. "You gave us half our DNA. He gave us the other half. We should know him." "That's not how it works." "That's exactly how it works," Liam interrupted. "We learned about it in science class. Inheritance and genetics. You're in kindergarten. You don't have science class." "We watch YouTube," Sophie supplied helpfully. Of course they did. Her terrifyingly smart triplets who taught themselves to read at 4 and were already doing 2nd-grade math. "Please, Mama," Maya asked. "We just want to meet him once. See where we got our hair and eyes and stuff." They gotten Damien's dark hair and sharp features, Shauna's green eyes, but his stubborn chin. "I'll think about it," she said, knowing it was a mistake. That night, after the triplets were asleep, she sat with her mother, now in remission, thank God, and told her about the conversation. "They want to meet him," Ella Laner said. "I know. Are you going to let them?" "I don't know, Maya. What if he rejects them? What if he looks at them the way he looked at me when he handed me those papers?" "Then you protect them like you've been doing for 5 years. Her mother squeezed her hand. "But Shauna, they're not babies anymore. They're smart, curious kids who deserve to know where they come from. He called me a bed warmer, Mom. He's also their father. And maybe, just maybe, finding out he has 3 brilliant children will change him. People don't change. Sometimes they do when they have a good enough reason." Shauna thought about it for 3 days. Then she did what she'd sworn she'd never do. She looked up Damien Harrington. The internet was full of him. Damien Harrington, CEO of Harrington Industries, had expanded his father's company into a tech empire worth billions, powerful, successful, and according to every article, single. No girlfriend, no wife, no scandal, just endless photos of him at charity galas, business conferences, looking exactly as she remembered, cold, controlled, untouchable. One article made her pause. Harrington CEO establishes foundation for single mothers. Every child deserves support. She clicked it. The foundation provided childcare, education assistance, and job training for single mothers. The article quoted Damien. "I've seen too many women struggle alone. No one should have to choose between caring for their children and earning a living." Shauna stared at the screen. This was the same man who'd called her a bed warmer, who'd thrown money at her and told her to leave. "Manga." Liam appeared at her elbow, making her jump. "What are you looking at?" "Nothing. That's our dad, isn't it?" Maya materialized on her other side. "We recognize him from your wedding photo." The photo Shauna had hidden in a box, but they'd found anyway because her children were tiny detectives. "Yes," she admitted. "He's pretty," Sophie said, peering at the screen. "Handsome," Liam corrected. "Boys are handsome." "I said what I said. Can we meet him?" Maya asked. "Please." Shauna looked at 3 hopeful faces and felt her resolve crumble. "One meeting," she said. "That's all. And if he's mean or says he doesn't want you, then we come home and never ask again," Maya promised. "And you eat all our vegetables for a year," Liam added. "Deal." What Shauna didn't know was that her children had already made a plan, a very detailed, very elaborate plan that they were about to execute without her permission. The next day, Harrington Industries. Damien was in a meeting when his assistant Jennifer buzzed in. "Mr. Harrington, there's a situation in the lobby." "Handle it." "Sir, you need to handle this one. It's unique." Irritated, Damien excused himself and took the elevator down. The situation was three 5-year-olds standing at the security desk talking to his very confused head of security. 3 children with dark hair, green eyes, and faces that looked eerily familiar. "I'm telling you," the girl was saying with impressive authority, "we have an appointment with Mr. Harrington." "You're 5, the security guard said. "Age discrimination is illegal." The boy with glasses countered. "We're not trying to discriminate." "Then let us up." The third child, another girl, smiled sweetly. "Please, we came all this way." "How did you even get here?" "Uber," they said in unison. Damien's blood ran cold. "You took an Uber by yourselves?" 3 heads turned. 3 faces that were mirror images of his own childhood photos. Dad. The boy with glasses said, "We need to talk." The lobby went silent. "I'm sorry." "What?" Damien managed. "We're your kids." The first girl said matter-of-factly. "Liam, Maya, and Sophie. We're triplets. We're 5, and we took an Uber from Queens to meet you because Mom keeps saying she'll arrange it, but she's scared, so we did it ourselves." Damien looked at his head of security, who looked as stunned as he felt. "Where's your mother?" "Probably freaking out," Sophie said. "We left a note." "What kind of note?" "Gonna meet Dad back later." "Love you," Maya recited. Liam pushed his glasses up. "We also left the Uber receipt so she could track us." "That doesn't make it better." Damien stopped. "Wait, your mother is Shauna. You remember her?" Sophie beamed. "That's good. She said you might not." "Of course I remember." He stopped again. "She's your mother." "Well, yeah," Liam said. "Who else would it be? And I'm your father, biologically speaking." Maya pulled out a folder. "We did DNA ancestry tests 3 months ago. Got your genetic markers. Match is 99.9%. Also, we look exactly like you, so surprise." Damien took the folder with numb fingers. Inside were DNA results, birth certificates listing father unknown, and photos of 3 babies that could have been him at that age. "We're not lying," Sophie said gently, apparently reading his shocked expression. "We really are yours. But Shauna, we got divorced 5 years ago." 6 years ago, Liam corrected. "We're 5. Math. She was pregnant when we divorced." "Apparently," Maya said, though she didn't know it, she found out 2 weeks after. "Decided not to tell you because you called her a bed warmer, which is super rude, by the way. Also kind of misogynistic," Liam added. "Big word," the security guard muttered. "We have a large vocabulary," Sophie said proudly. Damien's world was spinning. "Does Shauna know you're here?" "Not yet," Maya said. "But she will soon because you're going to call her and tell her we're safe and that you'll bring us home." "Am I?" "Yes, because otherwise she'll call the police and this will become a whole thing." Maya handed him his phone, which had somehow been in his pocket. "Her number's right there." "How did you—" "We're very resourceful," all 3 said. Damien dialed the number with shaking fingers. Shauna answered on the first ring. "Hello, who is this?" "If you've kidnapped my children, Shauna, it's Damien." Silence. "Then how do you have this number?" "Your children are here in my office lobby. They took an Uber." "They what?" "Apparently, they wanted to meet me and got tired of waiting." "I'm going to kill them." "Are they okay?" "They're fine. Terrifying, but fine. I'm coming right now. I'll bring them home." "Where are you?" She rattled off an address in Queens. "We'll be there in 30 minutes." After hanging up, Damien looked at 3 smug 5-year-olds. "You 3," he said slowly, "are in so much trouble." "Worth it," Liam said. "Totally worth it," Maya agreed. "We got to meet our dad," Sophie added. And despite everything, the shock, the confusion, the sheer insanity, Damien felt something crack open in his chest. He had children, 3 brilliant, reckless, impossible children, and he just found out by them, ambushing his office. "Come on," he said. "Let's get you home before your mother has a heart attack." "Can we take your fancy car?" Sophie asked hopefully. "I guess." "Yes." All 3 cheered. As they headed to the garage, Damien caught his reflection in the elevator mirror. He looked exactly like he felt, shell-shocked. In 30 minutes, he'd see Shauna for the first time in 6 years. The woman he'd divorced without a second thought. The woman who'd apparently been raising his triplets alone. The woman who'd never asked him for a single thing. And Damien suddenly realized that 6 years ago, he'd made the biggest mistake of his life. Now he just had to figure out how to fix it. The drive to Queens was the strangest 30 minutes of Damien's life. "So, Dad," Liam said from the back seat of the Tesla, "what's your net worth?" "Liam," Maya smacked his arm. "You can't just ask that." "Why not?" "It's public information." I Googled him. $4.7 billion. "That's a lot of money," Sophie said, eyes wide. "We're basically rich now." "You're not getting any of it," Damien said automatically, then paused. "Wait, actually, you probably should. I need to call my lawyer about trusts, college funds, life insurance beneficiaries." Maya rattled off. "Yeah, you should probably update all that. You're 5. How do you know about trusts?" "YouTube," all 3 said in unison. "Of course." "So," Sophie leaned forward. "Are you married?" "No girlfriend." "No boyfriend?" Liam asked. "We're very open-minded." "No boyfriend either. I'm single for 6 years." Maya's eyebrows rose. "That's suspicious." "It's not suspicious. It's I've been busy. Too busy to date." Sophie asked. "That's sad." "I'm not sad. Do you still love Mom?" Liam interrupted. Damien's hands tightened on the steering wheel. "That's complicated." "That's a yes," Maya translated. "He still loves her." "I didn't say that." "You didn't say no," Sophie pointed out, "which means yes. That's not how logic works." "Actually," Liam pushed up his glasses. "In Boolean logic, a non-negative response to a binary question defaults to positive unless explicitly." "We're here," Damien said desperately, pulling up to a modest apartment building. It was nothing like the mansion they'd shared. The building was old, painting a neighborhood that made his security instinct scream. "She's been living here, raising triplets here." The guilt hit like a freight train. Before he could process it, the building's front door burst open. Shauna. She looked the same, but different. Still beautiful, more so somehow, but tired. Wearing jeans and a sweatshirt, hair in a messy bun. No makeup, nothing like the polished wife who'd attended his business dinners. She looked real and furious. "Out of the car now." Her voice could have stripped paint. The triplets scrambled out. "Mom, before you yell," Maya started. "Uber." "You took an Uber to Manhattan." "It was very safe," Liam said. 5-star rated driver. "You're 5 years old." "We're actually 5.5, Sophie said technically. "Do not technically me right now." Damien got out of the car, slowly. "Shauna." Her eyes snapped to him, and he saw a flash of something. Pain, anger, fear before her face went carefully blank. "Thank you for bringing them home. You can leave now. I think we need to talk." "There's nothing to talk about. I have 3 children I didn't know about. That seems like something. You didn't want me. Why would you want them?" The words hit like a slap. The triplets' heads swiveled between their parents like watching tennis. "Shauna." "Mom," Maya said quietly. "Can we go inside? People are staring." Indeed, neighbors were watching from windows and doorways. Shauna's jaw clenched. "Fine. Inside, all of you." The apartment. The apartment was small. Impossibly small for 4 people. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a kitchen barely big enough to turn around in. But it was clean, organized, filled with the triplets' artwork and school projects. A home despite its size. On the fridge, Damien noticed a medication schedule and doctor appointments. "Your mother?" he asked quietly. Shauna stiffened. "How did you the schedule? The hospital name. Is she in remission finally?" Shauna turned away. "Kids, go to your room." "But we want to hear," Liam started. "Now." They fled. Once they were gone, Shauna rounded on Damien. "What do you want to understand? You were pregnant when we divorced. I found out 2 weeks after when you'd already made it clear I was disposable. I never said, you called me a bed warmer, Damien. You pay me off like a fired employee. What was I supposed to think? That I'm an idiot who made the worst decision of his life?" She laughed bitterly. "Nice try, but I'm not interested in your redemption arc. I'm not asking for redemption. I'm asking for a chance to know my children. Why? You didn't want me. They're half me. They're also half me, and they're incredible." He ran a hand through his hair. "Shauna, I was wrong about everything. The divorce, the things I said, all of it. Little late for that. I know, but I'm here now and want to be part of their lives if you'll let me. And if I say no, then I'll respect that. But I'm asking, begging for a chance. They came to find me. That has to mean something." Shauna sank onto the couch, exhausted. "They've been asking about you for months. I kept putting it off because I was terrified of this exact scenario. Of me rejecting them. Of them getting attached. And you leaving like everyone else in my life did." The pain in her voice gutted him. "I'm not leaving. Not this time. You say that now. I mean it. Shauna, I spent 6 years building a company, and you know what I learned? None of it matters. The money, the success, the reputation, it's all meaningless. But those 3 kids in that bedroom, they matter. And I already missed 5 years. I'm not missing another day. They're a lot of work," Shauna warned. "They're brilliant, stubborn, and absolutely exhausting. They will question everything you say. They will outsmart you. They will drive you insane. I got a preview in the car. Liam asked about my net worth. Maya knows about trust funds. Sophie asked if I had a boyfriend. Despite everything, Shauna smiled. That sounds like them. They're amazing. You raised amazing kids." "I did it alone," she said quietly. "For 5 years, working 3 jobs, barely keeping the lights on, taking care of my mom. And you were becoming a billionaire." The guilt nearly crushed him. "How much do you need?" "What? Money for the apartment, for the kids, for your mom's medical bills?" "How much?" "I don't want your money, Damien. That's not what I asked. I'm serious." "So am I. You're raising my children in a 2-bedroom apartment where I'm guessing they all share 1 room. You're working multiple jobs. Your mother was sick. How much?" Shauna's hand shook. "Why do you care?" "Because they're my responsibility, too. Because I owe you 6 years of child support. Because he stopped because I'm trying to do the right thing. The right thing was believing me 6 years ago. I know, and I can't fix that, but I can fix this." He pulled out his phone. "I'm transferring money to your account right now. Enough to cover." "Stop." Her voice was sharp. "I said no, Shauna. If you want to be part of their lives, fine. But I don't need your money. I've managed this long without you. I can keep managing. You shouldn't have to manage. You should be thriving. They should be thriving. They are thriving. They're happy, healthy, smart, and they deserve more than this." He gestured to the cramped apartment. A bigger place, their own rooms, not worrying about money. "Money isn't everything," says someone who's never had it. He regretted the words the instant they left his mouth. Shauna's face went ice cold. "Get out." "Shauna, I didn't mean get out now." From a bedroom. That made Mom cry. Sophie's voice horrified. "We need to intervene," Liam said. The 3 of them burst out before Damien could respond. "Stop fighting," Maya said. "This is exactly what we were afraid of." "We're not fighting," Shauna said, wiping her eyes. "Mr. Harrington was just leaving." "Mr. Harrington." Liam looked offended. "That's our dad. Use his name. Your dad is a guest who's overstayed his welcome." Mom, Sophie started. Room now. All of you. They didn't move. Please, Shauna's voice broke. I need a minute. Reluctantly, they retreated. Damien stood, feeling like the worst person alive. I'm sorry that came out wrong. I want to help. You can help by leaving. Will you let me see them again? Shauna was quiet for a long moment. I don't know, Shauna. You waltzed in here after 6 years and try to throw money at a problem you created. You think that fixes everything. No, but it's a start. What I needed 6 years ago was support, belief, someone to stand by me, not money. You're right. And I failed you completely. He moved toward the door, then stopped. But Shauna, I'm not failing them. Whatever it takes, however long it takes, I'm going to prove I mean it. We'll see. After he left, Shauna collapsed on the couch and let herself cry. She cried for the girl who'd married a man she thought loved her, for the woman who'd raised triplets alone, for the fear that he'd break their hearts the way he'd broken hers. Small arms wrapped around her. We're sorry, Mama, Sophie whispered. We didn't mean to make you sad, Maya added. We just wanted to meet him, Liam finished. Shauna pulled him close. I know, babies. I know. Do you hate him? Sophie asked. No. Do you still love him? Maya asked perceptively. That's complicated. You do, Liam said. We can tell. What you feel doesn't matter if the other person doesn't feel the same. But what if he does feel the same? Sophie asked. He looked at you like how I look at ice cream. Despite everything, Shauna laughed. That's not how love works, baby. Isn't it? Maya asked. Love is wanting something so much it makes your stomach hurt, and you can't think about anything else, right? That's actually pretty accurate. Then Dad loves you, Liam said confidently because he looked like his stomach hurt when you cried. Shauna didn't know what to say to that. 2 days later, Damien showed up at 8 a.m. on Saturday with boxes. Lots of boxes. What is this? Shauna asked, opening the door in her pajamas. Breakfast and presents. Can I come in? Dad. The triplets materialized, already dressed and clearly expecting him. Did you know he was coming? Shauna demanded. He texted us, Liam said. You gave them your number? They gave me theirs first. Apparently, they have phones. Emergency phones with limited contacts. Well, I'm a contact now. He set down the boxes. I brought bagels and books and toys. Sophie was already opening boxes. Educational toys, Damien corrected. Building sets, science kits, art supplies. You can't just buy their love, Shauna said. I'm not trying to. I'm trying to, I don't know, make up for lost time. You can't buy that either. Then what can I do? Be present. Show up. Don't promise things you can't deliver. I can do that. He met her eyes. I want to do that. Before Shauna could respond, Maya appeared with a calendar. We made a schedule, she announced. Dad gets us every other weekend, plus Wednesday dinners, and he comes to all school events. You made a custody schedule? Shauna asked. We're being proactive, Liam said. Also, Dad's taking us to the Science Museum today, Sophie added. He's what? If that's okay with you, Damien said quickly. I should have asked first. You should have. So is it okay? Shauna looked at 3 hopeful faces, then at Damien's carefully neutral expression. Fine, but they're back by 6. And you feed them actual food, not just junk. Got it. Real food back by 6. And if anything happens, I'll call immediately. And they need to take their vitamins. Mom, Maya said gently, we'll be fine. It's just the museum with your father who you've known for 3 days. 2 days, Liam corrected. We met him Thursday. Today's Saturday. Not helping. But she let them go because despite everything, she saw how excited they were. And because a tiny, traitorous part of her wondered if maybe, just maybe, Damien really had changed. The museum. This is the best day ever, Sophie declared, staring at the dinosaur skeleton. We haven't even seen half of it yet, Damien said, amused. Doesn't matter. Still the best. Liam was taking notes on his tablet. Did you know T-Rex had a bite force of 12,800 pounds? I do now. That's enough to crush a car, Maya added. Imagine being chased by that. I'd rather not. They spent 4 hours exploring every exhibit. Damien took approximately 300 photos, bought them souvenirs they absolutely didn't need, let them explain every display to him in excruciating detail, and enjoyed every second. Dad, Sophie asked as they ate lunch in the museum cafe. Why did you divorce, Mom? The question came out of nowhere, hitting like a truck. Maya and Liam went still, watching him. That's complicated, Damien said carefully. You always say that, Maya observed. But we're smart. We can understand complicated. He set down his sandwich, considering his words. When I married your mom, I did it for the wrong reasons. My father left me his company on the condition I was married. I didn't care about love or partnership. I just wanted the business. That's stupid. Liam said, very stupid, Damien agreed. I treated your mom like she didn't matter, like she was just there. And when I didn't need her anymore for the inheritance, I ended it. Without knowing she was pregnant with us, Sophie said without knowing. If I had known, he stopped. Actually, I don't know what I would have done. 6 years ago, I was a different person, colder, more selfish. And now, Maya asked, now I wish I could go back and do everything differently. You can't go back, Liam said. But you could go forward better. When did you get so wise? We're 5. We've been learning for 60 months. That's not actually that long. It's 12% of your lifetime, Maya pointed out. That's significant. Are you going to marry Mom again? Sophie asked. I don't. That's not because you should, she continued. You still love her. She still loves you. It's basic logic. Love isn't logical. Sure it is, Liam said. Chemical reactions in the brain. Oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. That's not love. That's biology. What's the difference? Maya asked. Damien didn't have an answer. That evening, he returned them at exactly 6 p.m. Shauna opened the door, looking anxious. How did it? The triplets barreled past her, chattering about dinosaurs and space exhibits and the planetarium show. They're wired, Damien said apologetically. I may have let them have ice cream. May have, definitely did. Saw the... It's fine. Did they behave? They were perfect. He handed her a bag. I got you something, too. Inside was a book, a first edition of her favorite novel that she'd mentioned once 6 years ago in passing. You remembered, she said softly. I remember everything about you, Shauna. That's the problem. Their eyes met from inside. Mom, Dad, stop making eyes at each other and come look at our dinosaur book. The moment broke. I should go, Damien said. Wednesday dinner, Shauna asked. They'll be disappointed if you don't come. I'll be here. And he was. Wednesday, the following weekend, every school event for 3 months, Damien showed up. He learned their schedules, their favorite foods, their fears and dreams. He paid off Shauna's debts, despite her protests, by setting up college funds that coincidentally paid out surplus to her account. He bought them a bigger apartment for bedrooms in a better neighborhood, under the guise of needing a proper space for custody weekends. He was present, and slowly, carefully, Shauna started to believe he wouldn't leave. But she still kept her walls up because the last time she trusted Damien Harrington, he destroyed her. And she couldn't risk that again. Not for herself. And especially not for the triplets, who were already calling him Dad like he'd never been absent. What Shauna didn't know was that Damien had a plan. A plan to prove he'd changed. A plan to win back the woman he'd been too blind to value the first time. A plan that the triplets were absolutely definitely helping with whether their mother liked it or not. For months after reunion, Operation Get Mom and Dad Married is officially in motion. Mir announced at the triplets' secret meeting in their new bedroom. They'd upgraded from sharing one room to having their own spaces in the new apartment, but still congregated in Maya's room for strategy sessions. We need to be strategic, Liam said, pulling up a flowchart on his tablet. We've established baseline compatibility. Dad shows up. Mom tolerates him, but they're not progressing. They smile at each other, Sophie offered. That's something. Smiling isn't marriage, Maya said. We need a catalyst, something to force them together. Like what? Like getting Mom a job at Dad's company. Liam suggested. She'd never take it. Maya said too proud. What if we get sick? Sophie asked. Like in the movies. Then they'd have to work together to take care of us. That's manipulative and potentially dangerous. Liam said, also unethical. Since when do you care about ethics? Maya asked. Since I learned what they were. We need something, Sophie tapped her chin. Something that makes them realize they need each other. Like a crisis, Maya said slowly. We're not creating a crisis, Liam said firmly. What if the crisis already exists? Mia pulled out her phone. The emergency phone that they'd definitely been using for non-emergencies. Grandma Eloanina's cancer. What if it comes back? That's horrible, Sophie gasped. I'm not saying I want it to happen. I'm saying if it happens, it could bring them together. Or, Liam said, we could just tell Dad that Mom needs help and let him figure out how to offer it. That's boring. That's effective. Before they could argue further, Shauna called from the kitchen. Kids' dinner. To be continued, Maya whispered. Damien had started staying for dinner most nights. It had become routine. He'd show up around 6, help with homework, stay for the meal, then linger for cleanup. Tonight, after the kids were in bed, he and Shauna sat on the balcony of the new apartment. The view wasn't Central Park, but it was nice. Quiet. Thank you, Shauna said suddenly. For what? This apartment, the school tuition you anonymously paid, the college funds, all of it. I told you. I know what you told me. But Damien, we didn't have to do any of this. You could have just shown up for weekends and been a good enough dad. Instead, you gestured helplessly. You changed everything. I'm trying to make up for 6 years. You can't buy back time. I know, but I can make the present better. He turned to face her. Shauna, I need to tell you something. Her stomach dropped. What? 6 years ago, when I handed you those divorce papers, I told myself I was being practical, that our marriage was a business arrangement that had served its purpose. I convinced myself I felt nothing. I'd be happy to break down that continuous text into clear paragraphs. Damien, let me finish. I was lying to you, to myself, to everyone. The truth is you terrified me. I terrified you. You made me feel things, want things that weren't about business or success or my father's approval. And I didn't know how to handle that. So, I pushed you away before you could. Before I could what? Before you could realize I wasn't worth loving. Shauna's breath caught. My father raised me to believe emotions were weaknesses, Damien continued. That love was a liability. That the only thing that mattered was power and control. And when I inherited everything, I thought I'd won. I had the company, the money, the success. And you threw away your wife in the process. I threw away the best thing that ever happened to me. And I've regretted it every single day since. Then why didn't you come find me? I tried, he said quietly. About 2 years after the divorce, I hired investigators. They couldn't find you. You'd changed your name, moved, disappeared completely. I thought. His voice cracked. I thought maybe you'd moved on, found someone better, been happy. I was raising triplets and working 3 jobs. If I'd known, but you didn't know because I didn't tell you. Shauna stood, pacing. And I didn't tell you because you'd made it clear I was disposable. So, we're both responsible for this mess. Does that mean we can fix it together? I don't know if there's anything to fix. You're a good father. The kids love you. We have a system that works. A system, Damien repeated. That's what you want, a system. It's safe. It's cowardly. Shauna's eyes flashed. Excuse me. You heard me. You're hiding behind what's best for the kids, because you're scared to admit you still feel something for me. I don't. You do. I see it every time you look at me. Every time you smile at something stupid, I say. Every time the kids mention me and your face softens. That's not, Shauna. I'm in love with you still. Again, I don't know if I ever stopped. He stood, closing the distance between them. And I hope you feel the same. But you won't let yourself because you're terrified I'll leave again. You did leave. I know. And I'll spend the rest of my life proving I won't do it again. But you have to let me try. What if you fail? What if I don't? They were inches apart now, close enough that Shauna could see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes. Close enough to remember what it felt like 6 years ago when she'd thought he loved her. The kids can't get hurt, she whispered. I can survive another heartbreak. They can't. Then I won't break anyone's heart, especially yours. He kissed her, soft at first, tentative like he was afraid she'd pull away. She didn't. Instead, she leaned in, hands fisting in his shirt, kissing him back like she was drowning and he was air. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Damien rested his forehead against hers. I love you, he said. I should have said it 6 years ago. I should have said it every day we were married, but I'm saying it now. I love you, Shauna. Completely, messily, forever. This is insane, she said. We have 3 kids, complicated histories, no guarantee this works. So she smiled despite herself. So, we're really doing this if you'll have me. The kids are going to be insufferable about this. They've been running their own matchmaking scheme for months. They'll be thrilled. You knew. Liam's not as subtle as he thinks. I found his flow chart. Shauna laughed, really laughed, and kissed him again. From inside the apartment. They're kissing. Finally, I told you the balcony plan would work. They broke apart to find 3 faces pressed against the glass door. How long have you been watching? Shauna demanded. Long enough, Maya said, opening the door. So, are you getting married? We just started dating. That's a detail. Sophie waved dismissively. Are you or aren't you? Damien looked at Shauna. Eventually, she agreed. Good enough. The Triplets chorus. 3 months later. Mom, you have to wear the blue dress, Maya insisted. It was Shauna's birthday, and Damien was taking her to dinner. A real dinner at a fancy restaurant. Their first official date as a couple. The blue dress is too fancy, Shauna protested. Dad rented out the restaurant, Liam said, looking up from his book. Fancy is required. He what? Didn't want other diners, Sophie explained. Said, it's more romantic with just you two. That's excessive. That's Dad, all 3 said. When Damien arrived to pick her up, they'd been living separately, taking things slow. The kids inspected him like Secret Service agents. Tie straight, Maya approved. Shoes polished, Liam noted. You smell good, Sophie said. Did you use the cologne we picked out? Yes, ma'am. Good. Don't mess this up. No pressure, Damien muttered. Lots of pressure, Maya corrected. We have plans for you too. Terrifying, Shauna said, appearing in the blue dress. Damien forgot how to breathe. She looked exactly like she had on their wedding day. Beautiful, confident, glowing, but better, real, not trying to fit in his world, but comfortable in her own. You look, he managed. Finish that sentence, Maya demanded. Perfect. She looks perfect. Acceptable answer, the Triplets announced. At the restaurant, Damien had indeed rented out the entire place. Candlelight, live music, a menu specifically designed for Shauna's preferences. This is too much, she said, even as she smiled. Nothing is too much for you. The kids are going to have a field day with this. They helped plan it. Of course they did. Over dinner, they talked about everything. The kids, work, the future. I've been thinking, Damien said over dessert, about expanding my foundation, creating programs for single parents, childcare, education assistance, job placement. That's amazing. I want you to run it. Shauna nearly dropped her fork. What? You know firsthand what single parents need. You've lived it. You'd be perfect. Damien, I don't have experience running a foundation. You raised triplets alone while working 3 jobs and caring for a sick parent. You're the most qualified person I know. But it's a real job, real salary. You'd report to the board, not to me. This isn't charity or pity. It's because you're brilliant and capable and the right person for this. Shauna was quiet for a long moment. Can I think about it? Take all the time you need. After dinner, walking through the city, Damien pulled her into a quiet park. There's something else I wanted to ask you. Another job offer, a life offer. He got down on one knee. Shauna, I know this is fast. I know we're still figuring things out, but I also know I don't want to waste another second of my life without you. He pulled out a ring, simple, elegant, with a green stone that matched her eyes. I'm not asking you to marry me tomorrow. I'm asking if you'll consider marrying me eventually, when you're ready, if you're ever ready. That's not how proposals work. Nothing about us has worked the traditional way. Why start now? She laughed through tears. You're ridiculous. Is that a yes? It's a ask me again in 6 months, and we'll see. I can work with that. He stood, sliding the ring onto her finger. Anyway, consider this a promise ring, a placeholder. She kissed him quiet. I love you, she said when they broke apart. I've tried not to, try to protect myself, but I do. I love you, Damien Harrington. Enough to marry me eventually? Ask me in 6 months. I'll ask you every day until you say yes. The kids will help. Oh, absolutely. They've already started planning the wedding. We haven't agreed to get married. Tell them that. 6 months later, Damien kept his promise. He asked her every single day, marry me over morning coffee. Marry me while helping with homework. Marry me during dinner. Marry me before kissing her goodnight. The kids thought it was hilarious. Shauna acted annoyed, but secretly loved it. On the 6-month anniversary of that first proposal, Damien took her back to the same park. So, he said, getting down on one knee again, it's been 6 months. I am aware. Marry me. Shauna pretended to think about it. Well, I have to deal with your terrible coffee-making skills. Yes. Your habit of leaving socks everywhere. Probably. Your tendency to overwork and forget to eat. The kids keep me in check now. And if I say yes, you're stuck with me. My student loan debt, my mother's medical bills, my chaos. I'm counting on the chaos. And 3 kids who will absolutely make our lives complicated. Already do. Shauna smiled. Then yes, I'll marry you, Damien Harrington. The kids who'd been hiding behind trees with Damien's assistant erupted in cheers. You knew they were there? Shauna gasped. They demanded to witness it, Damien said, sliding a new ring, the real engagement ring, onto her finger. Plus, they have opinions about the wedding. So many opinions, Maya confirmed, running over. We already picked the venue, Liam added. And the colors, Sophie said, blue and green to match your eyes. When did you 3 become wedding planners? We're multi-talented, they said in unison. The wedding, 6 months later. They kept it simple, small, just close friends and family in the same garden where Damien had proposed. Ella Laner, healthy and glowing, walked Shauna down the aisle. The triplets stood between them during the ceremony, just like they'd insisted. We're not just marrying each other, Damien said in his vows. We're making official what's been true for 2 years. We're a family, all 5 of us. And I promise to show up every day to love you, all of you, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. I promise to let you, Shauna said, tears streaming. To trust you, to believe that this time love is enough because it is. We are. When they kissed, the triplets cheered louder than anyone. At the reception, Liam gave a speech. 6 years ago, our parents made questionable decisions that resulted in us. 2 years ago, we made the questionable decision to ambush Dad at his office. And today, they're making the good decision to stay together. We'll call that character growth. For all of us, Maya added, we're also available for relationship counseling. Sophie finished. Rates are negotiable. The crowd laughed. Later, dancing under string lights, Shauna rested her head on Damien's shoulder. Thank you, she said. For what? For showing up, for trying, for proving you meant it. Thank you for giving me a second chance. For letting me be their father, your husband. Our kids are criminal masterminds. Best criminals I know. Think we can handle the next 13 years? With them? It'll be chaos. Absolute chaos, she agreed. Can't wait, he said and meant it. 5 years later. Epilogue. Dad, the baby threw up on your suit, 10-year-old Liam called. Damien looked down at his 8-month-old daughter, Ellie, who smiled sweetly despite the spit up on his Armani. Worth it, he said, kissing her head. You're getting soft, Maya teased, helping her mother with breakfast. I've always been soft. You three just exposed it. We created it, Sophie corrected. You were an ice king before us. True, Shauna said, kissing his cheek. Now you're just a regular king. Of this chaos, he gestured to the scene. Triplets arguing over the TV remote, baby destroying a stack of papers, dog. They had a dog, now stealing bacon off the counter. This beautiful, perfect chaos, Shauna confirmed. Wouldn't trade it for anything, Damien said. And he meant it because 6 years ago he'd been a bitter CEO who'd thrown away love for power. Now he was a father of 4, husband to the woman he'd been too blind to value, living in joyful chaos. The triplets had ambushed his office and changed his entire life. Best ambush ever. Dad, Sophie asked, are we having more siblings? No, Damien and Shauna said in unison. You said that before, Ellie, Liam pointed out. We meant at that time, Shauna said. Sure, the triplets said, exchanging knowing looks. What does that mean? Damien demanded. Nothing, Maya said innocently. Just that you two are bad at saying no to us. We're excellent at saying no. You literally bought us a dog last month because we asked nicely. That was one time. And a trampoline. Safety regulations were met. And a treehouse. Your mother agreed to that one. I was coerced. Shauna protested. The triplets grinned. They'd won, and everyone knew it. Later, after the kids were at school and Ellie was napping, Shauna found Damien in his home office. Hey, she said, leaning in the doorway. Hey, yourself. Thank you. For what? I haven't bought anything today yet. For this life, this beautiful, chaotic, imperfect life. He pulled her into his lap. Thank you for giving me another chance at it. Think we'll make it. We've survived triplets, a surprise baby, and a puppy. We could survive anything. Famous last words. I love you, Shauna Harrington. I love you too. Even when you're a pushover with the kids, they get it from you. They absolutely do not. He kissed her quiet, and for a moment, everything was perfect. Then Ellie started crying. The dog started barking, and someone, probably Liam, called about a situation at school. And we're back, Shauna laughed. Wouldn't have it any other way, Damien said. Because 6 years ago, he made the worst mistake of his life. And 6 years later, 3 genius kids had fixed it. Sometimes the best things in life came from the worst decisions. And sometimes love really did get a second chance. The end. This is the story of Shauna and Damien. 2 people who got it wrong the first time and right the second. Of 3 brilliant, scheming, hilarious triplets who refused to accept a world where their parents weren't together. Of second chances, chosen family, and love that's worth fighting for. Sometimes the worst mistakes lead to the best outcomes. Sometimes the people who hurt us are the ones who can heal us. And sometimes 3 5-year-olds taking an Uber to a CEO's office changes everything. Thank you for joining the Harrington family on their journey. May you find your own second chances, your own impossible love, and your own chaos that feels like home. This has been your storyteller. I love you all.